Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Thursday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early. Not so bright and freaking early. 7 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, I just got back from my 4 mile walk around town, and I've been thinking about this long and hard for the last 30 hours or so. I'm going to talk about the situation, what everybody else is talking about. Both sides. The reason I'm making this video is I'm guessing there's a lot of other people out there that are feeling the same thing I am. I'm surprised at how much this is affecting me. There's a couple other things that's affecting me this weekend, Memorial Day being one of them, and the death of my ex-girlfriend. But I'll get into that in another video. You know, I waited to talk more about this because all I feel really is frustration right now. This keeps happening over and over again, and the same sides say the same things. And President Biden said something that caught my attention. He talked about how we're the only nation in the world where this happens, and I thought about that a little more. And Fox News. This is another thing I'm going to talk about in this video. This video isn't going to be all that long, but Fox News came out with 101 solutions, and none of them being actual laws and control of these weapons. I'm going to talk about some of the ridiculous ideas they had. But Biden, he talked about how this only happens in this country. And I just gave that a little more thought, that all these other countries, Fox News was blaming this on, religion, not enough people praying, actually need more people, more good guys with these things on them in the schools. These other countries have the same situations, have the same movies, the same culture. A lot of times, there's a lot of countries that are more liberal than we are as far as the LGBTQ community. Because, of course, yes, Republicans pointed the finger there yesterday. Believe it or not, Paul Gosar. I'll put that link down below. Ridiculous, false claim about who the suspect was. But, Biden had something there. Think about it. These other countries all across the world have the same issues that we have with, what we've been through in the last couple of years, movies, the cultures and everything like that, praying, religion, sexuality, everything. But there's one thing that we're different, the greatest country in the world. I've been thinking about that term the last couple of days too. We're the greatest country in the world. I love this country. Don't get me wrong, but we're broken. We're very broken, and the longer we just ignore this and just having these same ridiculous arguments for a week or two, then the NRA slips some money in some pockets, and things go on as usual, and it happens again and again and again and again and again, and that's how I felt yesterday. It's like, what's the point of even freaking talking about it? It's like what's it called, Groundhog Day. Okay, so this is another thing that caught my attention. Trump talking at the end. This is a surprising, interesting turn of events. The NRA convention is being held in Texas, a couple 100 miles from this school. There's probably actually, I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be services being held 200 miles away for the victims, as Trump goes up in front, and Ted Cruz and the rest of them get up in front of the NRA and just talk about this stuff. One of the interesting things is here, during Donald Trump's speech, nobody can carry, there's a ban on these certain objects, the NRA's, the NRA's favorite things. There's a ban. So I started thinking about that and the priorities there. This is a convention of people that just love these objects, love to carry them, love everything about them. But when the king is around, nobody can carry them, And of course, they blamed it on the Secret Service. But I think that's just a scapegoat. So what's that say about priorities, really? So in the schools, like on Fox News, they're pushing about their basic solution was more people, more good guys. ex-soldiers, ex-police. I'm going to talk more about that in a second. Put more of these objects that we're talking about banning. Put more of them in the schools. But when the king's around, nobody can carry them. Well, what does that say there? And I don't want to hear them blaming it on the Secret Service. I think it's an interesting turn of fate that the NRA convention is in. I think it's Houston, just a couple hundred miles away. Just days after this, I think it's an interesting turn of fate. Okay, so Fox News, some of their solutions have one door. One door. They had ideas about bulletproof glass. Of course, more people, more good guys with these objects. Ballistic blankets. Instead of toys, they want to. One of them suggested, I think it was Kelly Conway. So they suggested putting these ballistic blankets on the walls, so kids could cover themselves. They're the greatest country in the world. Judge Janine, there was other solutions too, about more prayer. It's all about prayer, and so it's because we don't pray enough. Here's an interesting one. The parents should do their homework ahead of time to make sure that the school isn't all that vulnerable to getting attacked. So it's the parents' duty to check the schools first to make sure they have one, it's a bunker to protect their children. Not one time did Fox News, I'll have the link down below. Not one time did Fox, they have this repeat over and over again with all the Fox News talking heads with their suggestions, and it's mind-numbing. Okay, Judge Janine said something interesting about how some people are scared, are triggered, I think was the word. They don't like being around other people, a person strapped, And I thought about that, and I'm one of those people. Anybody that's watched my channel for any length of time, I grew up with all these things in my house. My father collected the firearms. I inherited them. I went hunting. I learned all the basics, how to clean, how to hold it, everything. But there's something about when somebody's in front of me, even a policeman, when they have the instantaneous, the godlike power, the instantaneous godlike power of life and death over me, and that's what goes through my head. It makes me nervous. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't know this person, and I'm always amazed about how people on the right, Fox News, Republicans, are talking about these good guys with guns, and they just assume that a lot of these good guys aren't going to have mental problems, aren't going to have issues. What happens when one of their good guys snaps? And there's only one entrance to the school, and the guy that's standing there is the one that has a short circuit. Then what? Let me say this too. I wasn't sure. Here in Connecticut, we have some of the strictest gun laws in the country. And I wasn't sure how that had all panned out over the last decade or so. And you can do your own research, but from what I've seen, there's been a 40% reduction in homicides related to these weapons. And that wasn't just one article, it was a lot of articles. So it apparently does work. Both in Newtown and in Uvalde, both these guys, down in Texas, this kid waited. He followed the law to the T. He wasn't a guy, breaking laws. He followed the laws to a T. He waited till his 18th birthday, ran out the next day, got himself set up. And same thing with Adam Lanza here in Newtown. His mother bought him, all legal. So these guys, they would have been considered good guys with guns. Like I said, there's something that makes me feel uncomfortable. I remember sitting in a Dunkin' Donuts with my mother, and a guy walked in strapped, regular clothes on. And, he caught my eye. I continued with the conversation with my mother, sitting there talking. And the guy, not just having that on him, but he acted differently. You know, he put his back to the counter so he could see everybody around him. And I just, to be honest with you guys, when I see somebody like this, I'm not busting butt here, but I honestly, when I see somebody that has to carry this with them at all times, I saw a couple of interviews with right-wingers talking about how they have this with them wherever they could possibly legally take them, they're strapped. And I swear to God, the first thing that goes through my mind is that these people must be insecure. Seriously, because to me, it appears they don't have the confidence just in themselves to be able to talk or to even use their own hands. That they're so scared that they need this with them at all times. And then too, a lot, I believe, we're all born, we all die. The day's going to come when, every one of us. And when it comes, it comes. And a lot of these right-wingers that believe in carrying these things are religious. I don't get how they don't have the same mindset that, when your numbers up, your numbers up, and they feel the need to carry these with them at all times. To me, it really, it makes me nervous. I'm one of those people that are triggered. Judge Janine said, and I grew up with these things, but there's just something about somebody I don't even know. What would it take for one of these people to use it, and have the instantaneous control over my life and death, with me having virtually no chance of having any say? Yeah, hell yeah, that makes me nervous. Just some thoughts on the juxtaposition, especially about Trump, talking at this convention, and nobody allowed in the hall to carry these things. But apparently our kids aren't as important as King Trump. All right, you guys try and have a good Thursday.